We may be only halfway through the 2022 summer transfer window, but it has already been one of the most exciting in recent years. Almost all of the world's top clubs have been putting the hours in around the negotiating table to sign some of the biggest names in the game. While established stars like Paul Pogba and Antonio Rudiger have been on the move this summer for free, it's the red-hot rising stars that have been forcing football's elite to dig deep and spend the big bucks, such as Aurelien Tchouameni, the 22-year-old defensive midfielder who Real Madrid have bought for £72 million, the biggest deal so far. The Premier League's top two, Manchester City and Liverpool, have been no exceptions, bringing in highly rated Erling Haaland and Darwin Nunez respectively. And today we are going on a journey to the north of England to decide which of the two is the better signing. Let's start things off with the current Premier League champions, who after much rumour and speculation finally announced the signing of Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund on the 13th of June. So what made City go in for Haaland? Well, first of all, it's Erling Haaland. We're not sure any club on the planet would say no to the hottest young striker joining their ranks. The Norwegian scored a goal every 87 minutes during his 18 months in the Bundesliga, and thanks to having enormous strength, speed and height, he has all types of goals in his locker. It's no wonder so many people are tipping the 21-year-old to win multiple Ballons d'Or over the next decade or so, and City will be hoping he's wearing a sky blue shirt when he does, a generation after Erling's father, Alf Inge Haaland, was playing for the blue half of Manchester. It's been known for some time that City boss Pep Guardiola has been on the lookout for a top centre forward ever since Sergio Aguero was featuring less frequently for the citizens. 12 months ago, a very public pursuit of Harry Kane came to nothing, and even though 99 Premier League goals and first place suggests Kane wasn't a great loss, Guardiola didn't relinquish the idea of bringing a world-class centre-forward to the Etihad Stadium. Also, two forwards have left City over the past few weeks. Raheem Sterling has signed for Chelsea, and Gabriel Jesus is also London-bound, joining Arsenal, meaning Pep's need for a forward is more essential than it was last summer, especially if they're to add that elusive first Champions League title to their trophy cabinet. So that's why Manchester City wanted young Mr. Haaland so badly. Now let's head over to Merseyside and look at Liverpool's new recruit from Benfica, Darwin Nunez, who was unveiled just 24 hours after Haaland. The Uruguayan had been on the Premier League and European runners-up's radar for a while, before Liverpool and Benfica faced off in last season's Champions League quarter-finals. But if they hadn't quite decided to put in a bid at that stage, then his eye-catching performances against Jurgen Klopp's side, where he grabbed a goal in each leg, may well have rubber-stamped that decision. Very much a player in the Klopp mould, the 23-year-old's main position is as the central striker, but he can play on the left of a front three or as a second striker. That versatility will come in very handy within the 4-3-3 system we see at Anfield. Scoring 34 times in all competitions last season shows he knows how to find the back of the net, but it's his movement, intelligence and counter-attacking game that really gets pundits talking. With Edinson Cavani and Luis Suarez in the autumn of their careers, it's no wonder Uruguayans are pinning their hopes on this young man as the future of the national team. Plus, with Sadio Mane moving on to Bayern Munich, super sub Divock Origi departing, and perennial backup Takumi Minamino off to Monaco, Liverpool needed to add strength in depth to their attack. And with Darwin, they really are able to evolve their front three. A forward line of Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez and Mohamed Salah will strike fear into the hearts of every Premier League defence, and could be enough to see Liverpool go from silver last season to gold this campaign. Well, now we know why the clubs wanted them, so let's try and work out which of the two is the better signing. One thing's for sure, that's no easy task. We can't possibly go any further in this video without mentioning money. So we'll kick off our comparison by looking at the prices the clubs paid. Liverpool coughed up an initial £64 million for Nunez, with the price potentially rising to a club record £85 million should Darwin reach certain milestones during his time on Merseyside. £64 million up front for one of the most sought-after strikers in the game doesn't sound like a bad business at all by the Fenway Sports Group. And what about Haaland's fee? Manchester City paid Dortmund £51.1 million this summer for a player with a market value of £135 million. Oh, so City are the clear winners here then? Well, actually, though the fee seems so low, it's not quite so simple. When Haaland signed for Dortmund from Red Bull Salzburg, His agent, the late super agent Mino Raiola, negotiated that he would have a €60 million release clause in his contract. This shrewd bit of business meant Erling would have plenty of options for where to go to next. And though City did well to win the race to his signature and pay the €60 million, or £51.1 million, we can't give them credit for the low price. Also, once agents' fees and some other costs have been dealt with, it is rumoured that the full cost will be in the region of £85 million, the same as the maximum Liverpool will pay Benfica for Nunez. So the fees aren't all that different, but what about how much each player is taking home every week? It's been widely reported that Erling Haaland will be earning a cool £375,000 per week from Man City, a whopping £19.5 million per year for the next 5 years. With such a relatively low transfer fee, it was always going to be huge wages that would win this particular bidding war. And few clubs can compete with City on that front. Over at Liverpool, Nunez's wages are a tad more modest, even if we don't know the exact numbers. There's some speculation about the precise amount, but it is apparently around the £140,000 per week mark. Well over £200,000 a week less than Haaland, and not even close to Anfield's top earners. Perhaps Liverpool have got themselves an absolute bargain for the next 5 years, but with Haaland tipped for superstardom so soon, is any price a good price for the Norwegian? Time for a system comparison. How well will each player fit into the respective styles of play? There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if either team is listening to those words, it's Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp will have 0 adjustments to make to his team's shape to accommodate Nunez. So, as we mentioned, the swashbuckling 4-3-3 system won't be going anywhere soon. But for all their success under Klopp, they again lost out narrowly to Guardiola's boys in May. Perhaps it was the right time for Liverpool to switch things up and go for a different kind of attacking lineup. Time will tell to see if they were right to stick to their guns. It has been suggested that Guardiola can't work with centre forwards, even though David Villa, Robert Lewandowski and Sergio Aguero all prove that theory wrong. Nonetheless, Pep and City will be forced to adjust somewhat to play to Haaland's strengths. Pep is surely a good enough coach, with enough quality in his squad to make the transition, but with any team, there is always a risk that the changes take longer to implement than you first expect. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Pep. That being said, plenty of managers over the years have spoken about the importance of continually improving to stay at the top. In Haaland, it's hard to argue that City aren't doing just that. So what do you think? Which of these two Premier League giants have made the better signing? Or is there a transfer this summer that you think is even greater? Leave us a comment below and share your thoughts. If you've enjoyed this video and want to watch more like this, subscribe today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.